Welcome back to SteelersFix Daily, your go-to spot for everything black and gold. This week, the Pittsburgh Steelers are hitting the road to take on the New England Patriots, two 1-1 teams, both looking to prove something early in this 2025 season. Now let's just say it right out of the gate. This isn't your typical Steelers-Patriots matchup from the Brady-Belichick years. But don't get it twisted, there's still plenty of heat between these franchises. The Patriots have won 8 of the last 9 matchups, including 3 straight. And if you're a Steelers fan like me, that stat alone should light a fire in your chest. This is the kind of game that feels personal, the kind of game where the terrible towel needs to wave even in Foxborough. Let's talk storylines. First up, Aaron Rodgers. Last week against Seattle, he threw 1 touchdown, but also 2 costly interceptions. That red zone pick after Jaylen Warren's explosive 65-yard play, that was a gut punch. Rodgers knows it, Mike Tomlin knows it, and Arthur Smith sure as heck knows it. The silver lining? When Rodgers has been kept clean, he's still been money. According to PFF, his passer rating when clean is 110.7. That tells us if this offensive line, Broderick Jones, Troy Fautanu, Zach Frazier, Isaac Seumalo, Andrus Peat, if those guys can hold up, Rodgers can still carve defenses apart. On the other sideline, it's the second-year player. Drake Maye has been sharp through 2 weeks. He's got a PFF grade of 78.0 compared to Rodgers' 58.3. He's completing nearly 70% of his passes, he's efficient off play action, and he's spreading the ball around. 9 different Patriots had receptions last week. That's veteran poise coming from a kid who's only just getting started. So what does this mean? It means Pittsburgh's defense is walking into a serious test, and they're doing it banged up. Alex Highsmith is out. That's huge. He's the guy who normally forces quarterbacks to drift into TJ Watt's lap. With him gone, Nick Herbig and Peyton Wilson need to step up. Deshaun Elliott is out. Isaiah Loudermilk is on IR. Malik Harrison is on IR. This defense has talent, but it's also got some serious holes to patch. Meanwhile, the Patriots' defense is healthy enough to cause chaos. Harold Landry, Christian Davis, K'Lavon Chaisson, all questionable, but all capable of disrupting. They just sacked Tua 5 times last week, and that's not nothing. Let's zoom out and look at the PFF team metrics. Steelers are ranked 20th overall, Patriots 24th. Defensively, Steelers are 24th, Patriots 26th. Offensively, though, New England jumps up to 13th compared to Pittsburgh's 23rd. EPA per pass? Steelers basically flat at negative 0.01. Patriots? They're cooking at 0.23. Translation? Rodgers has to protect the football, and Pittsburgh's defense has to make Maye uncomfortable, or this could tilt fast. And you know what's wild? The sportsbooks agree it's a coin flip. Spread is Steelers minus 1.5, moneyline hovering around minus 127. PFF's projection has this essentially dead even. So what's going to separate these teams? Execution on third down, finishing in the red zone, and protecting the football. We'll dig into matchups. Steelers offense versus Patriots defense, right after this. All right, let's really dive in. Steelers offense against this Patriots defense. Arthur Smith said it best this week. The run game was a little bit better, but still not where they want it. That's coach speak for, we're still leaving meat on the bone. And he's right. Pittsburgh's run game hasn't taken over a game yet, but you can see it bubbling. Jaylen Warren continues to be the spark. He racked up 86 receiving yards against Seattle, including that huge 65-yard catch and run that should have set up points. He added 48 rushing yards at 3.4 a pop. Not amazing, but steady. Kenneth Gainwell is still trying to find his rhythm as the change of pace guy, but you can feel Smith's trust tilting more and more toward Warren. Don't be shocked if his snap share jumps past 55 to 60% this week. Now here's the thing, New England's front 7 is no joke. They just held Miami's run game to 2.7 yards per carry. They gang tackle, they set hard edges, and if Harold Landry suits up, he's one of the more underrated closer-type edge rushers in the league. That's where the Steelers' offensive line has to flex. And let's talk about that line for a second. Broderick Jones is still developing, Troy Fautanu is learning on the fly, and Zach Frazier at center is a second-year player dealing with exotic fronts every week. There are growing pains, but there's also growth. If you look at the tape, the communication is sharper than it was last season. Sumalo is the calming presence, and McCormick has been serviceable. But against a Patriots defense that just dialed up 5 sacks on Tua Tagovailoa, this line's biggest job is keeping Rodgers in that clean pocket world, where his rating is up over 110. Because let's be real, Rodgers under pressure hasn't been pretty. His passer rating drops down to 59.9, almost identical to Drake Maye's 59.4 under heat. And when Rodgers forces it under duress, that's when you see the turnover-worthy plays pop up, 4.0% of his dropbacks so far. That cannot happen on the road against a Patriots team that thrives off sudden change momentum. So what's the answer? Balance, efficiency, creativity in short yardage. Arthur Smith can't abandon the run, even if it's not gashing early. Duo runs with Darnell Washington sealing the edge. Split zone with Jaylen Warren cutting backside. Sprinkle in some RPO looks. Even if Rodgers isn't pulling and running, just that mesh point freezes linebackers for a half second. And then, here's where the chess game comes in. Use Jaylen Warren on those option routes against linebackers. That's a mismatch. We saw it against Seattle. He cooked them on Texas routes out of the backfield. And when New England inevitably adjusts, that's when you hit DK Metcalf. Listen, Metcalf's stat line last week was pedestrian. 20 yards, 1 touchdown. But don't let the box score fool you. His gravity was real. Seattle rolled coverage his way. Pittsburgh forced safeties to shade toward him, and that opened the middle for Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith. Expect the same script here. New England will bracket Metcalf and dare Calvin Austin III and Roman Wilson to win one-on-one. I actually like that challenge. Austin is lightning in a bottle, and Wilson's separation skills are better than his stat line shows. If either one pops a 30-yard play, it changes the math instantly. Freiermuth, meanwhile, is the safety blanket. He had 31 yards last week, Jonnu Smith added 27, and both should be heavily featured in the intermediate passing game. Here's the underrated storyline: red zone execution. Pittsburgh's first 2 games have been defined by leaving points on the field. That turnover in the tight red after Warren's big catch last week, that's the kind of mistake that gets you beaten New England. You have to cash in. Field goals won't cut it against a team that plays ball control and minimizes mistakes. Arthur Smith finally unveiled Darnell Washington in a 2-point package. More of that, please. He's a walking mismatch. At 6 feet 7 inches, 270 pounds, you can't coach size. Get him ISO'd on a safety in the red zone, throw it high, and let him box out. That's free points. Another thing, don't sleep on Jonnu Smith as a red zone wrinkle. The guy's versatile. Motion him into the backfield, leak him out into the flat. These are the kind of little wrinkles that keep Rodgers from forcing dangerous throws over the middle. And speaking of Rodgers, this is the week where he has to be comfortable being a point guard, not a flamethrower. Take the 5-yard outs, hit the tight ends on stick routes, dump it to Warren. Let your playmakers do the work. Then, once a quarter, when the defense cheats up, take your shot to Metcalf. That's the formula. Now history check. Patriots have beaten the Steelers 3 straight times and 8 of the last 9. Think about that. The last era where Pittsburgh truly owned this matchup was back in the Cowher years. Ever since Tom Brady and Belichick took over, it's been misery. But this isn't Brady. This isn't Belichick. It's Drake Maye and Vrabel. And you better believe Rodgers and Tomlin are preaching that inside the locker room this week. Enough is enough. It's also worth noting, New England is second in the league in average offensive snaps per game at 69. Pittsburgh's at 59. That's a full 10-play difference. If the Steelers don't control time of possession, they'll be in trouble late. You cannot let a second-year quarterback sit on the field for nearly 70 snaps and find his rhythm. So it comes back to this. Finish drives, own third down, and keep Rodgers clean. That's the offensive blueprint. When we come back, let's flip it over. Steelers defense against Patriots Drake Maye. We'll talk about Watt, the injuries, the matchups on the perimeter, and what Mike Tomlin has to scheme up without Alex Highsmith on the field. All right, let's flip it to the other side of the ball. Steelers defense against quarterback Drake Maye and the Patriots offense. Now let's just say it. The second-year player looks good. Really good. He's not playing scared, he's not holding the ball forever, and he's not afraid to use his legs. Through 2 games, Maye has a PFF grade of 78.0 compared to Rodgers' 58.3. That number alone tells you he's off to a confident start. Against Miami, he threw for 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, and averaged a fat 10 yards per attempt. That's explosive efficiency. And remember, he did it while spreading the ball around to 9 different receivers. That tells me the kid isn't locking in on one guy. He's taking what the defense gives him and letting his playmakers do the heavy lifting. Who are those playmakers? Start with Stefon Diggs. Yeah, Diggs is no stranger to Pittsburgh. He's crafty, physical, and still a technician in the route game. Even when his box score looks modest, he's pulling coverage his way. Then you've got guys like Keyshawn Bout and Austin Hooper, plus running backs Tre'Veon Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson catching passes out of the backfield. Last week, Patriots backs accounted for over 100 receiving yards. That's a massive part of their identity. And here's the kicker. Stevenson himself had one of those remember me games. 88 receiving yards, another 54 on the ground, and a touchdown. When he's rolling, the Patriots offense looks balanced. When he's bottled up, Maye has to carry a lot more weight on his shoulders. So the Steelers' game plan defensively is clear. It starts with stopping the run. Look, this hasn't been a good run defense so far. Week 1, Breece Hall torched them. Week 2, Kenneth Walker ripped 105 yards at over 8 a carry. That's embarrassing for a defense that prides itself on toughness, and you know Mike Tomlin hasn't been shy about letting the guys know it. This week, it's a pride check. Cameron Hayward, Keanu Benton, Patrick Queen, they have to set the tone. No more 5-yard gains on first down. Force Maye into second and long. Then it's about TJ Watt. You can't sugarcoat it. He hasn't notched a sack yet this season. That's crazy to say about TJ Watt, but don't mistake sack totals for impact. He's still collapsing pockets, he's still drawing extra attention, and he's still creating plays for others. This week, without Alex Highsmith on the other edge, Watt needs to be the superstar. That means moving him around, outside, inside, standing up over the guard, and forcing Drake Maye to identify where number 90 is every single snap. This is where the young guys matter. Nick Herbig has shown flashes. Peyton Wilson brings speed. DeMarvin Leal and Isaiah Loudermilk, well, before he went on IR, were supposed to be part of the rotation. Now it's on Logan Lee, and maybe even Derek Harmon, to give quality snaps. The point is, somebody outside of Watt has to win their matchup, because if the Patriots can double Watt all game, Maye will have time. The secondary is another piece of this puzzle. Darius Slay gets the toughest assignment. Stefon Diggs. That's a man-up, prove-it matchup. Slay's length and physicality are perfect for Diggs' style, but he can't get grabby. One flag on third down keeps drives alive. Opposite him, it's going to be a combination of Jalen Ramsey, Brandon Echols, and maybe James Pierre. They're going to get tested. Patriots offensive coordinator knows it. Expect them to target those guys with intermediate crossers and play-action digs. Here's another key stat. Drake Maye under pressure has the same passer rating as Rodgers under pressure, right around 59. That means if the Steelers can heat him up, his efficiency craters. And remember, Miami sacked him 3 times on just 23 attempts. There's opportunity here, even without Highsmith. Now let's talk situational football. Third down is where the Patriots quietly thrive. Against Miami, they held the ball for 69 offensive snaps compared to the Dolphins' 58. That's a huge swing. Why? They stayed ahead of schedule. Stevenson's 4-yard runs, quick outs to Diggs, screens to Henderson, all of it kept Maye in third and manageable. That cannot happen this week. The Steelers need to win on first down, make it 3rd and 7, and then let Watt cook. Red zone is the other critical area. Patriots love using Maye's legs inside the 20. He already has 2 rushing touchdowns this season. That means the Steelers linebackers can't just sell out on Stevenson. They have to respect the quarterback draw, the read option, and the rollout. That's disciplined football. Guys like Cole Holcomb and Queen have to play under control. Special teams, don't forget it. Last week, special teams literally cost Pittsburgh the game with that kickoff fiasco. You cannot hand a rookie quarterback free touchdowns. You want Maye to earn everything, drive the length of the field, and feel the pressure of long possessions. Special teams mistakes flip momentum. Just ask Caleb Johnson after that miscue. Clean it up, and suddenly the defense has a fighting chance. So, to wrap this defensive section, it's all about pride. Pride in stopping the run. Pride in rallying without Highsmith. Pride in taking away the easy stuff and making a rookie beat you with tight window throws. If they do that, the turnovers will come. Jaylen Ramsey already showed it last week with that interception on Darnold. I wouldn't be shocked if he gets another one this Sunday. We'll close it out next with the prediction, betting context, and what this game means for Pittsburgh moving forward. Okay, Steeler Nation, let's wrap this thing up. We've broken down the numbers, the matchups, the PFF grades, and the injury lists. At the end of the day, though, football isn't just about stats. It's about execution, it's about resilience, and it's about identity. Right now, the Steelers are sitting at 1-1. The Patriots are also 1-1, but the vibe around these two teams feels very different. New England is feeling good about its quarterback. Drake Maye has been efficient, smart, and confident. Their defense is generating pressure and finding ways to frustrate offenses. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh is sitting here thinking, we should be 2-0. And honestly, they should. The Seahawks didn't beat the Steelers as much as the Steelers beat themselves. Special teams gaffe, red zone interception, short yardage failures, all self-inflicted. So what does that mean heading into Sunday? It means this game is about cleaning up the details. Let's hit the betting angle real quick. The spread is basically a pick'em. Steelers favored by 1.5, moneyline around minus 127. PFF has it even closer, projecting this as a literal coin flip. Value-wise, the models tilt slightly toward the Patriots. But you know what? I don't care about models when I've got TJ Watt on one side and Aaron Rodgers on the other. In close games, stars matter, and the Steelers still have more proven star power. Rodgers has to play point guard, not gunslinger. If he protects the football and leans on Jaylen Warren, Pat Freiermuth, and DK Metcalf's gravity, Pittsburgh can win this. If he forces throws into bracket coverage and gives the Patriots short fields, that's when New England steals it. Defensively, this comes down to Watt and Queen. Can Watt finally notch that game-changing sack? Can Queen clean up those spill plays in the run game? If those two show up, Maye is going to feel like a young player for the first time this season. And let's not forget the emotional part. Patriots have won 8 of the last 9 meetings. 8 of 9. That's unacceptable for a franchise with 6 Lombardis. The terrible towel tradition was built on flipping streaks like that. Pittsburgh's culture is about pride, about history, and about writing new chapters. This is a chance to punch back. So here's my prediction. I think this is going to be an ugly, gritty, old-school AFC game. Field position, third downs, red zone execution, that's where it'll be decided. I don't see either team running away with it, but I trust Rodgers to protect the ball more than I trust Maye to play mistake-free for a third straight week. And I trust TJ Watt to finally wreck a game. Steelers 23, Patriots 20. Rodgers throws 2 touchdowns, one to Freiermuth, one to Calvin Austin on a shot play. Jaylen Warren racks up 100 scrimmage yards, and Watt ends it with a pocket collapse in the fourth quarter that forces Maye into a throw he wishes he could have back. That's the difference. That's how Pittsburgh flips the script. And what does it mean for the season? It means 2-1 heading back home. It means confidence for a young offensive line. It means validation for Arthur Smith's vision of balance. And it means momentum for a defense that desperately needs to reestablish its identity. So Steeler Nation, get ready. This is one of those games that could swing the trajectory of the season. You clean up the mistakes, you impose your will, and you finally end New England's streak. Here we go. That's it for today's SteelersFix Daily Preview. Make sure you follow us on all platforms, check out the full article on SteelersFix.com, and hit that subscribe button. We'll be back with post-game reaction and breakdown after Sunday. Until then, this is Steelers Fix, signing off. Here we go.